Pattie here, and we're going to be talking with Victoria Harres from PRNewswire, and she has been a regular at these events. First at TwitterCon, now Realtime New York. So Victoria, tell us a little bit about what you were talking about this morning on your panel, and then what else you're up to, what your forecasts are for trends.
So at PRNewswire, I think, listening. Especially as it concerns Twitter, Realtime. We used to be TwitterCon, now we're the Realtime conference, but definitely listening in the moment, in real time, knowing what's going on so that you can react. I was on a panel earlier talking about listening, and one of the things that I think is key when you define listening and what that means in social media, in digital media, you can't have hearing without being able to act. So you have to be ready, you have to be agile, ready to move on any kind of information that you hear in real time. You have to be able to act in real time, so that means having all the dots connected ahead of time internally so you can connect the right people with the right messages so that they can act on them and move your company forward, or else you're just trying to catch up.
So what I'm hearing is two things. First, that you want to have the people in place, and that you're also enabling those people, no matter what department they are in, to be responsive so that there's not a lot of backpedaling or time wasted, so that they can immediately respond to whatever's happening that they've been charged to do.
Yeah, and one of the questions that we didn't get to on the panel because we ran out of time was we were at the end going to talk about the future, what we see as the future of listening. And what I wanted to say was the future of real time, of listening, of really social media in general, is that we won't have to talk about it. It will just be part of everything. We won't have departments dedicated to, listening. We won't have certain people dedicated to listening and passing on the message. It will be that we are all connected and understand what clients and the industry is saying and how it affects our portion of the business, and we will react in real time. There won't have to be this conversation, and we won't have all these reports that try to prove the value of listening. Because really that's social media. At the heart of it, that's the value to all of it. To all of us is the ability to listen. And so why are we writing reports? To prove that there is value in listening. Of course we should be listening to our clients, and if they're speaking on Facebook or on Twitter rather than the traditional sending you an email, then by God, we ought to be there listening.
But also, doesn't that have to do with part of the problem with this, of companies making this change and adapting this new methodology, is pushback from maybe people who just quote, "I don't get it," and there's still unfortunately a lot of people that are not getting it, and they're not also of the ilk of having an entrepreneurial mindset where they are actually empowering their people.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things is that traditionally we have thought of social media as something that marketing and PR did. So people within an organization tend to have this philosophy that, marketing is taking care of that. Marketing is listening, or PR is listening, and they will do the messaging, they will do the tweeting. I'm over here doing my job, and that's their thing to do. So people aren't wanting to buy in yet. Not everyone. Unfortunately, the people I talk to, other companies, we're all kind of in the same boat right now, where you do have those core people that get it and have bought in and realize the value, of listening and the value of using these social channels. But until everyone buys in, we're going to continue to struggle. We're going to continue to spend hours on reports to try to prove that there's a value.
Which is too bad. I think that's it's silly, and it's not going to change. This is the way the world is, and from everyone that you listen to, Seth Godin being one of them, back in the day, was like, listen, in the 30s it was radio, in the 50s it was television. We're in in the midst of a revolution, and it's an industrial revolution unlike any other. And if that's where people are gathering, then that's where you need to be. You have to be an early adopter, and the people who are not will falter or fail.
Or they're going to spend a lot of time catching up. That's the people who are not there now. I was talking to a friend yesterday who works for a very large media company that is not using Twitter, and they had made a decision not to use Twitter a while back. But now, suddenly they realize, okay, they don't have an option. And so now they're trying to catch up, and isn't that too bad? So and when you think, and there's a lot of companies like that. So, okay, so they're catching up with Twitter now. Well, what are they not already on that they're going to have to catch up with a year from now? Because while they're busy catching up right now with Twitter, what are they missing out that they should be doing? Is it, Empire Avenue that we should be looking at seriously now? What are those other things out there that we need to be looking at?
Well, mobile being one of them, and one of the other things that I was talking with someone at another conference at SES was QR codes. And I was amazed that when I opened up my husband's car and driver, there's an oil company. I mean, they make oil for cars, and they've got a QR code. I was like, yes, this is a company that's getting it. This is a company that's testing the methodology that is 2D, and that they can put various, I don't know, because I didn't scan it, I don't know what exactly is on there, but it obviously can lead someone to a mobile app or a page or a video.
Yeah, I was actually at the grocery store on Saturday and was looking at wines. I needed a bottle of wine, and I see QR code. So I knew nothing of this wine that I was looking at, and so I take out my iPhone and I scan that QR code, and it goes to their page, and suddenly I know something about this wine company and this particular wine and the flavors I should expect and what foods it will go with. And you can't get all that in a little price code sticker, but that QR code can lead you to a lot of rich information to go with whatever it is you have. We actually did at PRSA National Conference last year in D.C. PRNewswire did a game where different PRNewswire people were wearing QR codes, and each person was worth a different value. So it was this game where you had to meet and introduce yourself and scan these QR codes from these different people, and you accumulated points throughout the conference. At the end, certain people won iPads, etc. But it was a lot of fun. And one of the things that it did is, of course, you can't just go up and scan someone's QR code. You have to introduce yourself. So you say hello to people and you meet them, and and you have an exchange. And then the QR code also led to other information online, etc. So
QR codes as icebreakers. I love that.
Yes.
That's what it is.
QR code as icebreaker. That's a very good way to put it.
And not only for a personal encounter face-to-face, but also for a brand. It's an icebreaker for the brand.
It is. It's an icebreaker for a brand. And on a personal level, I did an interview with Web Pro News last year, and they gave me a T-shirt that had a QR code on the back. Says, see me on video. Scan the QR code.
Oh, that's so great.
Isn't that cool?
It's great seeing you again, and hopefully we'll see you again at the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you.